Alabama and Kalen DeBoer are an absolute recruiting heater during the month of June. At the time of us recording this, Alabama has got 7 commitments during the month of June alone. Right now in the top 10 in the On3 industry team recruiting rankings. If you think back to when Kalen DeBoer originally got hired at Alabama, this was the big question we all had. We'll unpack this right now, but make sure you are subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. College football, nothing but college football recruiting, the college football video game, the games themselves, everything having to do with the greatest sport on the face of planet Earth happens here, happens nearly every single day. Bama fans, if you want more content around your Crimson Tide, the best way to let us know that is by subscribing. We see y'all getting locked in. We do more content for y'all. Supply and demand. You get the gist of it. But, Alabama, they're recruiting like a program right now. And I think it's interesting to note this. Last year, when Alabama had a top 3 class at the end of the 2025 cycle, you were, I think if you're a Bama fan, encouraged. But there was also this small part of you, some of you probably, and a lot of the college football public, I think, made this point. Great for Kalen DeBoer, great for him to recruit at that level, but you had 2 thoughts. One, can he do it again? Because last year was last year. It was below Bama standards. I think Kalen DeBoer would tell you that as well. Second thought was, well, hey, there's a lot of guys in this class from the West Coast. KDB, we appreciate you recruiting the best coast, man. I myself, from Southern California, appreciate you recruiting the best coast. But Bama, when they're Bama, Nick Saban, when he was reeling off national championships, what did Bama do? Yes, recruit nationally, but you would have a major presence in SEC country. Right now, with the class that Kalen DeBoer is putting together in 2026, vast majority of this class is from the Southeast. The other day, just got a commitment from the state of Alabama and 5-star running back E.J. Crowell. So you see what I'm saying here. It's not just the fact that you're doing well during the month of June. It's the fact that you're doing well on the recruiting trail during the month of June in the southeastern part of the United States, which I think is going to be a non-negotiable here for Kalen DeBoer moving forward, and for Alabama moving forward, which isn't necessarily breaking news. But when Kalen DeBoer got hired, I wasn't so sure how it was going to work at Bama. And I know a lot of this is still TBD and what Alabama does in the college football playoff in the future and all of that. I totally understand. It still comes down to winning college football games, winning national championships, winning conference championships. But the first thought I had was like, man, I don't know what it's going to be like for him recruiting in the SEC. Not saying that it wasn't something he could do, but I had my doubts because we hadn't seen him do it just yet. So I had that take, kind of a wait with bated breath kind of approach to this whole thing. And then we got out to Alabama last spring and sat down with Kalen DeBoer. And whenever you sit down with a head coach, talk to him on Zoom, a lot of the coaches are just kind of trying to say the right thing. No one's trying to make headlines, any of that. So my assessment during those kind of conversations is just like, what is this head coach like when you talk to them? Especially when you get to talk to a head coach in person. What's their presence like? How do they connect? All those things. And I'll say this. 1, Kalen DeBoer, I think, is very personable. And 2, I think he's very real. 2 things that in college football and recruiting, those things still translate. I know everyone wants to talk about NIL and resources, and those things are also non-negotiables. But at the end of the day, I think people still, for the most part, commit to people. And Kalen DeBoer, as a person, I think, based on this recruiting class and based on what he did this last cycle, those relationships, I think he still majors in. I think he still wins on that level, and I think Alabama will still benefit from that. So all that's to say now, since last spring, and since what they were last season on the football field, I think, slowly gained more optimism around Kalen DeBoer and his future in Tuscaloosa with how good they can be. And obviously how the recruiting right now has done nothing to deter that or make me feel any less certain that he'll be a success in Tuscaloosa. There's some people, though, that see where Alabama is right now in the On3 recruiting rankings and say, okay, well, JD, it's cool they're top 10, but let's be real here. They got to be top 3 or better if you want to compete for national championships, right? That's kind of that tier where if you recruit in the top 3, even top 5, maybe you can compete for national championship, but top 3 is kind of that sweet spot. Not top 3 right now. What's up with that? I'm not worried about that because the season hasn't happened yet. For my money, I think Kalen DeBoer has this thing teed up exactly where you would like it to be teed up during the month of June. Now, it'd be great to have the number 1 class during the month of June, but here's the deal, man. It's not December yet. You don't have pen meeting paper just yet. I think it's great to be in a spot where you are high enough to where you're excited about your class, but not too high to where there's nowhere to go but down. During the fall, if Alabama starts winning at a high level, let's say Alabama goes out and they make the college football playoff. Forget win the SEC, forget make the national title game, just make the college football playoff, win 10 games. At that point now, Kalen DeBoer in his second year can pitch progress, can pitch Bama still going to be a national title contending kind of team by nature of being in that national title contending tournament. There's going to be a lot of things you can point to if you're Kalen DeBoer and say, okay, look at where we're headed. Come be a part of this. Come get to Tuscaloosa. Come play in my offense. Come play for Kane Womack RDC. There's going to be a lot of pieces there that are what I would call momentum moments that you can take on the trail, pitch to recruits, and have success pitching, and have success, I think, in terms of only bolstering this class. So my thought around this is I'm not worried they're not top 3 right now because there's plenty of runway to eventually get there. Now, there's also, I think, some conversation that's inevitable for this time we're in the college football world where it's no secret who Kalen DeBoer replaced, right? Who replaced the greatest of all time in Nick Saban. And we probably still on this show, just admittedly because we're all human beings, will consciously, maybe subconsciously compare DeBoer to Saban. But as best as we can, Alabama fans, college football fans, I want us to all try our very, very best to just let Kalen DeBoer be Kalen DeBoer. Because the honest truth of the matter is, it's a fool's errand to compare Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban. One, Nick Saban's the greatest of all time. There will never be another. Okay, hear me clearly. Also, the era in which Nick Saban coached, very different than the era Kalen DeBoer is going to coach in. Look at recruiting in itself. Kalen DeBoer is having to, I think, major, not just relationships, but like NIL is a massive part of what he's going to have to do to continue to recruit at a high level. Saban didn't really have to major in that when he was at Alabama. Towards the end he did, but like for the most part, when he was winning national championships, that wasn't part of the college football fabric of the world that we were living in college football. That wasn't something that he had to account for necessarily. Kalen DeBoer, if he doesn't account for that, they're cooked. Okay, now I think Bama will account for that, just so we're aligned, but if he doesn't, it's a different story. Also, the postseason in itself. Like, how many times do we see Alabama in a BCS national championship game after not having to play in a playoff or anything like that? Like, Saban won 3 national titles, I believe, during the playoff era itself, but Kalen DeBoer, if he wins a national championship going forward, going to have to win at least 3 games, maybe 4. Not even considering the fact that the playoff could expand to 16-plus teams in the future. Like, it's never been harder for Kalen DeBoer in Alabama to win a national championship. So I understand. I'm not saying lower your standard of winning national championships. That's not my point here. But just understand, comparing Kalen DeBoer and the world he's in college football to the world that Nick Saban was in college football, it's not a helpful tool for anybody. Not a helpful tool for anybody. It's like trying to do the whole GOAT debate with LeBron and Jordan and all that. It's like, I'm not a basketball guy, so I don't want to wade too deeply into these waters. But the NBA that Michael Jordan played in, very different than the NBA that LeBron played in, very different than the NBA that Wilt Chamberlain played in. Like, let's just appreciate greatness here. So Kalen DeBoer, should he end up being great at Alabama, will have earned that. But let's not water it down by trying to compare him to the greatest coach to ever coach in the world of college football. All right? But to go back to my main point here, Alabama recruiting like a program, recruiting the right places like a program. Not worried about where they are in the rankings right now. I'm more worried about where they are in the month of December, and what they do in the fall will have a massive impact on that, and it's teed up for them to go make a run at this thing here should they have something on the field to help themselves recruit with in 2025. Let me know your thoughts, though. Make sure you're subscribed. Got a lot more content coming for you. Bama fans, let me know your thoughts around this recruiting class that KDB is putting together. For Caden Smith on the 1s and 2s, for myself, JD PicKell, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.